Hey YouTube, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nobby back again. The reason for this video in particular is based on some of the comments and discussions that I have gotten into with black men and women, some Caucasian, and with the black women, I'm starting to have a serious problem in talking with them, and when looking at what they write to me, I start to get a picture of what black women think. Okay, so this is, for lack of a better title, what black women think. Alright, and part of what they think is that the evil that black women do to men, black men, well, it's not their fault, because they're not responsible for their actions. Basically, they get to be as evil as they want to be, and black men are still supposed to love them, even though they have shown us nothing but hate. But then, in the mind of a black woman, that's all anecdotal, based on her group of friends. You know, you present evidence, but all the people they know don't do what you just presented. So I'm going to go on ahead and, you know, just lay out my thoughts about this and present evidence. And pay close attention to this. While we have a majority of black women that are just simply no good, you'll be surprised at what black women used to be based on what they are now. So I don't know, let's just go with this real quick. The conversations, this is a woman that says her man is beautiful because he worships her. You see what I'm saying? So I'm a firm believer that we will continue certain negative patterns until we make real life change. When I finally found a good black man, I had some choices today. My man is beautiful to me, but I must say the first thing I had to let go of in choosing a mate were superficial. I bet your women have to look good in exact certain way before you give them the time of day. Okay, you see this BS? So black men are supposed to choose women, understand this, one that are out of shape, broke, that will that has no concept of running finances and stuff like that. And if we don't choose anybody that we are attracted to, then we're being superficial. And the women don't realize that there's a reason that God made us visual creatures. If you're fat and out of shape, it is a risk for you to have babies, which is the primary purpose of sex anyway. And so the Almighty gave certain inclinations of beauty to us, and that beauty meant health, meaning good hips, not too thin, so that baby can make it down the canal, be able to nourish themselves, blase, whatever, you know. Y'all get the picture, right? So, at least 3 to 6 months, you realize this woman isn't for you that you thought she was. Alright, here's the thing. Most black men are realizing that hardly any black women are for them, because they are superficial. They're not even real black women with the fake eyelashes, fake eyes, fake booty, fake breasts, fake hair, jacked up attitude, and I'll show you some of this, right? And so she says, my man ain't 6'2" or rich with a fancy car, but he loves the ground I walk on. So that's what she was looking for. She was looking for a man that don't stand up for what's right and wrong, but worship her. Goes to work, comes home, he supports me in all my endeavors and lets me be me. I can set my watch by this man. He's so dependable. Trust me. Once I matured, I was around 28. A dependable 5'6" man became quite sexy to me. Reevaluate your choice in women. Trust me on this. It ain't them, it's you. So if black men don't like the jacked up behavior of black women, it ain't the black women, it's you. If black men choose to date somebody other than a black woman because he wants peace, it ain't them, it's you. In this woman's head, right? Now, she just said he supports all of her endeavors. She never said once what she does for him. She can set her watch, so she got somebody she can control. Alright? And basically, she was looking for somebody that she can control. This is why a lot of black women like thugs and gangsters and people that sell crack out of their house. Because if they do something they don't like, they could send them to jail. It's hard to send a good working man to jail. Now, when this woman didn't mature until she was around 28. But before that, she was a hoe. She was a hoe to all the 6'2" men with rich and fancy cars and stuff like that. And then after she got broken in by them, she wanted to give the leftovers to the 5'6" man with a job. A dependable 5'6" man with a job. You see what I'm saying? And who's to say how long they'll stay together? Because in the black community, 99% of all divorces are generated by the women and not because of infidelity. Because they got tired of the guy. Alright? And so, basically, as a rule, I never take advice from a black woman unless it's an elder. But these trashy black women out here, I do not take advice from them. Period. No man should take advice, especially relationship advice, from a black woman. From a black woman. No man should do this. It's ridiculous. First of all, most of these women have multiple children by multiple different men. They have multiple messed up relationships. They're looking for somebody to worship them and worship the ground they walk on. But they are not looking to provide anything to that man but trouble. They won't provide anything else. Again, he supports all of her endeavors. So I'm wondering what kind of endeavor he has. At no point did she say what she does for a man. So basically, in short, most black women are like this. If black men don't like the way black women act, the evil that they've done, it's not the black women, it's the black men, because we're supposed to like that. Or some will say, and we're not really that evil, we don't do that much. Oh, you don't?
Brian Banks was a star linebacker at Long Beach Polytech when his dreams were shattered by a rape conviction. His accuser later admitted she lied, and now Banks is free man. Eyewitness News reporter Miriam Hernandez is joining us live from Long Beach with his emotional day in court today. Miriam?
And you might expect a bitter man to emerge from this ordeal, but today Brian Banks tells the world that this experience has made him stronger, more patient, and ultimately a better man.
There comes a time when you have to let go in order to move on. The only thing I wasn't going to let go was this fight.
A 10-year fight backed by friends, family, and the California Innocence Project. A battle to show the court Brian Banks was wrongly accused and wrongly convicted. He was 16 years old, a top athlete with NFL dreams. It all dissolved after a classmate, 15-year-old Juanetta Gibson, passed a note to a friend claiming Banks raped her. It read in part, "He didn't have a condom on, and I was a virgin, now I'm not." Gibson won a $1.5 million lawsuit against the school. Banks got 5 years in prison, 5 years on parole, and a lifetime label as a sex offender. Until this moment, exoneration.
The people will concede the matter, Your Honor, and ask the court to grant the petition.
Right. Petition is granted.
The turnabout came after Banks' accuser asked to friend him on Facebook. He wanted much more, a confession, and he got it. Now, once more, he sets his sights on a football career.
I'm ready.
This is the most determined individual I've ever met. If you are looking for someone who has the athletic ability, but the heart, give him a chance.
On a day of high emotion, Banks and his parents say they hold no anger against the accuser.
She was 15, and it was the adults that were behind her, that were pushing her.
Soon Banks will shed his ankle monitor and a dark past.
I vowed to myself that I will take this opportunity and be the best person that I can be in this world, and to show people that no matter what you go through, there is light at the tunnel.
There was no comment today from the accuser and no word yet on whether any criminal or civil action will be filed against her. Reporting live from Long Beach, Miriam Hernandez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Miriam, thank you.
This is Juanita Gibson. Now, the accuser of false rape. Notice that the mother of Brian Banks said that she was 15. It was the adults behind her. Guess who the adults were behind her? The mama. Somebody spent all that money. This woman, when she went to court for them to try to sue her for the money back, all she had left was nothing. She went on the bus. Alright, so at 15, $1.5 million got spun up within 10 years. Now we know that it's her black mother, yes, her mama black, that put her up to this, that decided to sue the school, that decided to pursue these rape charges that were false. At no point did this woman apologize, nor her mother. Alright, and again, we say she is black and her mother's black. But at the end of the day, it's Brian Banks' fault that this woman lied. It's Brian Banks' fault that this woman got this $1.5 million spun it up. And, you know, it's always never the woman's fault. You see what I mean? And even when you try to do the right thing, it's never the black woman's fault. Let me rephrase that. It's never the black woman's fault. So the black woman feel that she can just do anything to a black man. Remember, it's her mother. The neighbors said they bought a whole bunch of cars when she's 15, don't drive, and they spun up that money so fast. Right? And when I say they, I'm saying a bunch of black females. They were living high off of this dude's false imprisonment, knowing that it was dishonest the whole time. Period. And even the prosecution knew it was dishonest. But hey, it's a big black man. You know how that goes. Now, black women are even starting to do it to their white daddy. Remember the Duke lacrosse team?
Well, the woman who was at the center of the false rape allegations that were brought against 3 Duke University athletes may now be facing a murder charge. Earlier this month, the police arrested Crystal Magnum for stabbing her boyfriend in the kitchen with a knife. Now we've learned that that victim has died in that case. Prosecutors say that they will likely charge Magnum with murder. Back in 2006, as you may remember, this story went on for months and months. She accused 3 Duke lacrosse players of raping her at an off-campus party. Those charges were later shown to be false, and the charges against those 3 men were dropped.
So, before I present this next one, I would like to just have, especially the black men, get an understanding. We see this over and over again. We see how black women of today support this kind of trifling mess from other black women. We see that when we don't like it and stand up against it, like the woman said, it's not them, it's us. You know, how dare you have a problem with evil? Now, Scripture says we should shun evil, come away from it, sanctify ourselves away from all of this. Our women have become just downright evil. All right? But I want you to understand that the black woman's mentality is that they want the man to worship her, not the Almighty. Two, if we have a problem with the evil that they do, it's not them, it's us. We should not have a problem with the evil that they do. After all, none of the black women have the problem with the evil that they do. Or I shouldn't say none. Let me retract that. Most of the black women don't have a problem with the evil that they do. Alright, but most do. Now, black women didn't always used to be like this. On a rare occasion, you find a black woman that speaks like this. That is not a member of the Nation of Islam. Or maybe they are. She is. But, I mean, this was a rare find here.
I would like to say to this gentleman and all other people who are not blessed with melanin at this point in time to understand that what has happened in our history is that you have been misinformed as much as we have been misinformed. Right. Much of the information that is brought forth not only from Dr. Muhammad but other areas, other scholars are not available to you, as a sister said, in your curriculums that you have for 400 years when you did not allow us to read and write and was being hidden. Whether you, sir, personally did that or not, it was a legacy that was passed on to you. And I end by saying the Holocaust is simply the greatest atrocity on film. Ours was not filmed. Thank you.
Now that's a real black woman. You had some in the 80s that were, I mean, remember old school hip hop? Not this Nicki Minaj crap, right? Now, brothers that followed hip hop, around the 80s, 90s, like around the time of Missy Elliott, The Brat, I mean, you could count a bunch of female hip hop artists that were spitting knowledge. Look at those, look at how those women have sold out today. Remember guys like KRS-One and stuff? KRS-One is still KRS-One. Pump PE, Chuck D, he's still Chuck D. The dudes that were spitting knowledge are still spitting knowledge. The women that were spitting knowledge in the shadow of the men and then coming to the forefront, they're now selling out. Like Queen Latifah, before she got with Tretch, and now she's with another woman. Alright, how the industry promotes Nicki Minaj. Name another hip-hop artist that's a female of this day that's not Nicki Minaj. Oh, and that's not white. So let's not count Iggy Azalea. Oh, I'll give you a few moments. You have a hard time doing it. No, it's the reason why Nicki Minaj wins a whole bunch of awards, because that's the only image of a black woman that they want presented. You know, a fake, like most black women now, fake hair, fake eyelash wearing, fake booty injection. Oh, and by the way, 3 more black women died of booty injection within the past month. You see what I'm saying? And so, I mean, black women, as far as being good black women, they have digressed as a whole. The woman that you saw standing up to speak, before the 60s, that's how most black women were. Not all, but most. Between the 60s and 70s, that started to decline. And then we had a plummet in declination from the 90s to from the 80s to 90, and then you would be hard pressed to find a decent black woman that is able to speak as eloquently about black issues. Nowadays, black women do not care about the black community. They only speak about women's issues, and primarily black women's issues and black girls. They could give a F about a man or a boy, and they really don't care about girls until they come into womanhood. They are completely dependent on the white man's money when we used to have our own businesses. We can't have our own businesses now because black women would not frequent black businesses. And they teach their children not to do it also. These women have destroyed the community and the finances of the community. Yes, they are getting rich, but they have no wealth. And there is a difference. So instead of the black woman that we have in video before, we now have this.
Beaver County Jail. This is where 24-year-old Justin Lindsay has been locked up now for nearly a week, charged with simple assault and harassment.
You going to jail, hit me. Spit on me again.
Come right here, I will.
Lindsay's arrest stemmed from this incident at his Aliquippa home last Friday, when his former girlfriend showed up. Lindsay recorded the confrontation on his cell phone. He was on the porch with another woman at the time, along with he and his ex-girlfriend's small child.
What am I mad for?
The mother drove up, seen the other woman, and she just snapped out.
Lindsay and his ex-girlfriend exchanged verbal insults. After a few minutes, his ex came at him with a metal pipe.
I'm wet the out you dead in your
striking him and knocking the phone out of his hand. The ex-girlfriend left Lindsay's house, but she didn't go home. She went immediately to authorities.
She hasn't been charged because she told that he did this assault to her. They went and she called a 24-hour magistrate on Friday, and he went on and gave her PFA and told Aliquippa police to pick my son up.
The Lindsays and their son drove here to the police station, but they got nowhere, they say, when they tried to explain what happened.
Me and his dad went with him to turn himself in to the police. They refused to look at the video, refused to really hear his side.
Twyla Lindsay has spent the past week knocking on doors and making phone calls, trying unsuccessfully to get her son bailed out, because she believes he's been treated unfairly by what she calls the criminal injustice system. And with the start of the long Labor Day holiday weekend just one day away, Lindsay says her son has a job in Robinson Township, and if he's not out of jail by next Tuesday, he'll likely lose that job. We're live tonight. I'm Ralph Iannotti, KDKA TV News. Beaver County Jail. This is where 24-year-old Justin Lindsay has been locked up now for nearly a week, charged with simple assault and harassment.
You going to jail, hit me. Spit on me again.
Come right here, I will.
Lindsay's arrest stemmed from this incident at his Aliquippa home last Friday, when his former girlfriend showed up. Lindsay recorded the confrontation on his cell phone. He was on the porch with another woman at the time, along with he and his ex-girlfriend's small child.
What am I mad for?
The mother drove up, seen the other woman, and she just snapped out.
Lindsay and his ex-girlfriend exchanged verbal insults. After a few minutes, his ex came at him with a metal pipe.
I'm wet the out you dead in your
striking him and knocking the phone out of his hand. The ex-girlfriend left Lindsay's house, but she didn't go home. She went immediately to authorities.
She hasn't been charged because she told that he did this assault to her. They went and she called a 24-hour magistrate on Friday, and he went on and gave her PFA and told Aliquippa police to pick my son up.
The Lindsays and their son drove here to the police station, but they got nowhere, they say, when they tried to explain what happened.
Me and his dad went with him to turn himself in to the police. They refused to look at the video.
Top at 6, and only on Local 10 News, a Miami police officer under investigation for her porn star past. It is a story you will see only on Local 10 News. The story of a police officer and her ties to the porn industry.
That officer's career now under scrutiny. Local 10 investigator Bob Norman is breaking this story tonight. Here's Bob's exclusive report.
Sabine Raymondville is a sworn Miami police officer by day, and by the looks of social media postings, a club girl by night, partying with famous rappers, Hollywood people, and pro football players. But now the 30-year-old Raymondville is at the heart of a wide-ranging internal affairs investigation involving an occupation she kept a secret from the public.
We did it last time, didn't we?
As a performer in porn movies, some of which were obtained by Local 10. We caught up with her at her home. Did you do pornography while you were a cop? No. You didn't? And then later while she was working a special detail in downtown Miami. I saw the pornography tapes. I mean, can you talk about that? She and a fellow officer began banging on a door trying to get away. But after that, Raymondville called me and promised she would talk after the investigation is complete, and clarified that yes, she had worked in porn, but prior to becoming a police officer.
No.
A source involved in the investigation who supplied the video to the station alleged that Raymondville continued doing porn several years into her tenure as a cop. Of more concern may be the man who appears in the clips with her, Emerson Callum, whose home was raided in 2011 after allegations of drugging and raping women who were auditioning for his films. Callum and his partner, Levant Flanders, an ex-Miami Beach cop, are now serving life terms in federal prison. Now, police aren't commenting on this active internal investigation right now, but in case you're wondering, there is no specific rule for cops against pornography, but it could fall under other policies, such as conduct unbecoming. But you better believe we're going to stay on top of this case. At the Miami Police Department, I'm Bob Norman, Local 10 News.
And Bob tells us that, again, this behavior could fall under conduct unbecoming or activity that tarnishes the image of the department. That investigation is ongoing.
There you have it. For you black women out there that say that y'all don't love thugs, we got a black woman who was doing porno videos, even into her tenure as a police officer, with another thug police guy and another thug that were making porn videos and raping the women, where the two gentlemen ended up in prison. And this is what this black police officer was doing. So this is a professional woman. All these women are saying, oh, I got a degree. I got the white man's piece of paper. I got a good job. A degree and a career don't make you a good woman. For some, it makes you a sellout. Because you're living off your you're living off your degree instead of your character. Why? Because you're devoid of character. Black women have shown good black men hate. They are a disgrace in general. You have a few. I have yet to meet one that I trust. Alright, black women are liars. They set up black men. They kill their dream. They're violent. They're greedy, vain. They have no respect for black men and or children. They have no respect for themselves or the community. Now, if you think I'm lying, I could sit up here and put these videos up all day. As a matter of fact, me and a bunch of other brothers and or women could sit up here all day and put different videos of these up. Women were complaining, oh, you men are bashing women. No, we're not. You're bashing yourselves. You're bashing yourselves' heads. You're bashing black women are bashing other black women's head in with weapons, stomping on their heads when they're down. Most of the guys that were letting this thing go on were raised by single black women. These women acting like this, raised by single black women who didn't need no man. Because they despise male leadership and think they could be the man and the woman. To the point where Hallmark has to put out a card saying that the woman is the mother and the father. A bunch of BS. A bunch of bull. You know, at the end of the day, I leave you with this. That it is so funny how black women have a problem with black men calling them out for this treacherous mess that they have been doing. Black women have a problem with black men calling them out by being honest. Black women have a problem with black men who are reposting or showing these videos of them in character and then making commentary about how we're disgusted at it, without realizing that most of the stuff is on World Star Hip Hop, the news channels, and it is showing how despicable the black woman has become in general. Most of us brothers would be hard pressed to, and this is to include sisters and mother, we would be hard pressed to honestly say that we know a good black woman. We know working black women, we know women with degrees. But as you see, I put one up, one worked for the president, shot at her boyfriend with her own gun. Mad over not getting some cell phone numbers. Then you have the police officer making porn videos with obvious criminals. You know, I think this is showing, with my videos and others, that black women, we are showing that black women seem to have a hatred for good black men, but they love them thugs though. And then they can't understand why black men don't want anything to do with them. The MGTOW or MGTOW, men going their own way, that didn't come out of nowhere. But I speak on black women because this is what I know, and they have become despicable. I hope that one day we can get back to the day where black women can stand up and be as eloquent as the one towards the end when she was speaking on the Holocaust. I'm not going to hold my breath though. With that said, I'm out.